Let's see what we have here. Move a few things around on the desk. Let's see if I make a real mess out of it. Maybe I shouldn't fiddle with cameras. Not today. Dun, 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 dun. And full screen. There we go. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, that's just Discord. All right. So I'm just doing a bunch of reading. Let me see how this is going to look. This is not the right place. Something like this. Back. In English, let's see. Okay, let's see what happens here. Made complete. Watch that. See if you get any input. It's not really helpful, is this? Just look at the messages. I think that's a problem. So, folks, today's a weird day. A lot of administrative overhead. The heating is broken, the pump is busted, no warm water, no heating. We got an electric heater. A lot of other weird stuff is like in terms of like my mental headspace. I am feeling like I'm all over the place. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of reading, tinkering around. I have a meetup to attend tonight. I'm quite curious to see what I'll be learning there. And meanwhile, I'm just kind of like doing easygoing stuff. So let's set up that configuration. And we want to specify how many tokens we can send along. 100 points is not a lot. Just set this to 1,000. Okay, that sounds better. Temperature 0.1. We don't want it to get too creative. Let's figure out what that means exactly. P. Yeah, let's figure out what he explained. Oh, actually, let's go to the form and then figure out what these things mean again. It's 11 out there. Okay, it's kind of like 10 degrees out here, so it's still Celsius at least. So it's still bearable, but it does get uncomfortable very quickly. and the space is quite large, so we do quite feel it. Doesn't really tell me what it does. Call this data, so I get a higher, more diverse options for outputs considered, but I don't have a good sense for practical differences. There's something only to P something chooses from the smallest possible set of words whose cumulative probability exceeds the probability P. The probability mass is then redistributed amongst this set of words. This way, the size of the set of words, aka the number of words in the set, can dynamically increase and decrease according to the next word's probability. Let's visualize. Let's look at this. This is nice. Okay, so yeah. All right. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's look at vision. Here we go. For example, knowledge from the most likely keywords sampling chooses from the smallest possible set of words. It's cumulative probability exceeds from. Okay. 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 Cumulative probability exceeds P. All right. Okay. Yeah. Top P sampling picks the minimum number of words to exceed. Yeah. Okay. But maybe I should rack it up. Maybe I should rack it up because the value that we have is pretty low. What are we going to say we start with top P08. Just 0.9%. Right. What else do we have? Frequency penalty. Probably want to set that to non-zero. Frequency penalty, that's where it's filled in. So let's have a look. Frequency. Maybe we should just go to a different place. Where's the API docs? Okay, let's just go to. It's not all the parameters. We need to figure out what the parameters are. It's kind of like how you use it, but okay, let's see some examples. Max tokens used to import for the content for my columns can set to 1. Max tokens, that's very low. Temperature set to 0. Label, single word, or token. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Hey, want to hear a joke about programming? Yes, I do. Give me a good one. Joke about programming. I'm ready for it. I can use some laughter. Imposter engineer below 0. Yeah, wherever you are, imposter engineer, that's rough. Below, like it's negative 11 degrees Celsius. So where imposter engineer is at, Alex Lumarov is still writing that joke. I'm guessing you're not generating a chat GPT. Okay, let me ask chat GPT for a good joke about programming. Let's go. Give me a good joke about programming. I don't even know if I'm logged in or if it's. Give me 3 great jokes. Oh, come on. Of course this happens. Of course this happens. Exactly. You never know. I'm definitely working on it. So imposter engineer is like hopefully not a chat GPT joke. Let's see. You're that's joke. Jesus. Okay, this is a good one. Why do programmers always mix up Halloween and Christmas? Because Octo 31 equals decimal 25. October 31, December 25. That's a funny one. Got a hand to. This is probably something they just ripped out of a library somewhere or a page. Okay, so Alex has a good one. Um, can you smoke in a private programming school? Yes, but only inside the class. Okay, we got a couple of laughs in. Thanks for this, folks. The prize goes to who do we win the award the prize to? Alex or ChatGPT? Let's give it to Alex. It's just going to be a matter of time before ChatGPT wins all the joke competitions, anyways. So while we can still give some points to humans, let's go ahead and do that. It's only going to be another half year, buddy, and then the better jokes are all coming out of the model. Funny. Dun, 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 dun. So this is good. Thanks for that, Alex. Thanks for that. So what are we doing here? Let's go back to notes. So I had this nonsense out there. These were prompts I ran somewhere around November. That was against classic GPT-3 models. Enough. I'm just trying to play around with this other thing. Probably. Well, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Conf. So I do want these settings to be honored. Top P. I also want to look inside of. I'm just flipping through the GPT-3 docs because I have this kind of like integration inside of Emacs that I was using that talks to the model, and now I'm just tweaking the parameters to something that is satisfactory for me or the use cases where I typically need it. So yeah, I'm just reading through the docs to figure out what all of these parameters mean exactly, or not exactly, just to get a rough sense. Yeah. So yeah, just reading through OpenAI documentation. On that note, probably should just go to the API reference. That's a good place to start. And then maybe I should actually just see what is here because they probably do have parameter details. Here we go. What is that it? Parameter details. Frequency. Okay, presence penalties. Okay, fine. We complete API. So let's just look at the documentation for that. Cool. Alternative to sampling with temperature called nuclear sampling, where the model considers the result of the token with top P probability mass. So 0, 1 means only the tokens comprising the top tier probability mass are considered. Okay. We generally recommend altering this or temperature, but not both. Okay, so let's just clean this up. We're not going to play around with that. We're just going to set the temperature. We could set it a bit higher. Let's set it 0.8. Let's see what they recommend here. Sampling temperature to use higher values mean more creativity, more risk. Try 0.9 for more creative approaches and 0 automatic sampling for ones with a well-defined answer. Yep. So we got that one. Log probability. What is that? Include log probabilities on the log probs, most likely tokens, as well as chosen tokens. For example, if log probability is 5, the API will return a list of 5 most likely tokens. Cool. All right, I think. Yeah, we've got most of it. Let's just double check that I'm doing this the right way. Maximum number of tokens generated. In the completion, token count of your prompt plus max tokens cannot exceed the model's context length. Okay, cool. So it's okay-ish. Max tokens, you say 1,000. More than this we shouldn't be needing. Not now. Back to notes. Now let's have a look. If I were to take this thing, yeah, and okay, so if I categorizing with appropriate counts. Can I do a word count in here? Word count. 69 words for 83 characters. Yeah, sure. I wonder. So maybe I shouldn't do it here. Actually, maybe it doesn't really matter. Let's go down to the bottom there. Let's see what we get back. Let's try and through this. Does this make sense? Introduce a dimensional summarize the text category. So imagine these are this exercise here was done the same complete version. It's not going to enter anything. It's just going to dump the result in the messages buffer. CTA. Huh? Really? Really? Okay, cool. Well, if this is the response, that's correct. Categories front end, because we basically fine-tune the model by feeding it a couple of examples. But the input is use of LM to summarize the text language model categories. Either one of the picks here, of which front end is one, ML is one, auth, DevOps, backend is custdev, and then introduce 2FA. That's auth and backend. Change CTA colors to light gray. That's a front end task. So it basically dumped out front end as a result. This is good enough. Here we also see list of front end input now. So that part works. So I guess the parameters that I defined as my defaults are okay. You can kind of like see how it's different to talk to GPT-3 directly as opposed to ChatGPT, because you kind of like have to prime it to do something, right? By the fine tuning, providing it some examples, and then defining a prompt that it can complete. So yeah, this was what I did like in November. I'm just revisiting it to see if it still works, because I was kind of like tweaking this thing inside of Emacs. Wanted to know if the extension kind of like worked, and it does. So it's good enough. So one thing that I would like to play around with today, so knowing that kind of like works, like what's this article that I saw on the internet about figuring out ways to feed large texts into models by recursively summarizing snippets of the text until you get like the full summary. That is one thing that I haven't confirmed works for some of the examples that I was thinking about. Probably also not the time to do it right now. But yeah, that's something that at some point I have to get around to. There's a bunch of other stuff that I was thinking about trying to experiment with on the GPT side. But yeah, for now, I have to figure out what kind of like best practices are. Especially also for like doing like quick things in my sessions here. So how about we try to do this? Look at some of the renderer code here. And how about I take a function that's not too long, because of course whatever I have will work. Short function I can produce. Let's just go here. What's this? Track B. Okay. These are tests, so I can close that. Okay, here we are. Select object, render object, right? Let's see how much this is. Word count. Region. All right, so that might be doable, 291 words. So if I were to say PLDR, get work, render options active using runner this function because I've done okay, cool. It will return an array table subcomponent will return. Additionally, the object is a table cell. Cool. This thing does do a nice TLDR. Cool. So see, I have that magic working, and just testing it out is because a few days ago I submitted a tiny PR to this project that allows me to do that stuff inside of Emacs, where I can just highlight pieces of text and submit them to the model, and I get some summaries back or whatever the task is. The TLDR task is a pretty simple one. I mean, like if I look at the implementation of that, that will be TLDR region. You'll find it here. What does it do? What does it do? Let's have a look. TLDR region does nothing other than sending a string to the completion API. And the only thing we do at the end of it, we basically put a couple of line breaks, and then we put TLDR colon, and then we let the thing complete. And of course, we set a couple of parameters now that are slightly different from the default. So now it's actually honoring the temperature and the max token settings that I've provided in my conf. So not too bad. The change that we made last time was just to pick up our API key from our password store instead of having to hard code it inside of our config. So now I can basically just source it from my pass store by whatever entry name I have in there, nice and clean. I don't have to put passwords in my pass inside of my config. So I'm not sad about that one bit. Cool. So another thing I've been curious about, just from a usability perspective, because I like to be able to do these kind of things inside of my tool for thought. So how about I go to the Scratch buffer? I have this there. I no longer need that in my Scratch buffer. And then buffer. What else can I do here? Oh yeah, so how to feed large texts into a GPT-3 model with token constraints. How do I feed large text into GPU for some validation task? Right? What happens if I were to say like, this is not a complete. I also doubt that GPT-3 could answer this. Like this is something for ChatGPT. This is not for GPT-3 because we have to provide some prior context or some suggestion of what the actual task is. Either examples. So maybe I would have done something like this is a question, this is an answer, to prime the model to understand what I really need here. I'm just going to run this region and then see what it does. If this even works here. Process the text for feeding text, tokenizing block. Okay, this is standard stuff. Actually, yeah, create tooling constraint. Okay, yeah, but this is actually stuff that you don't necessarily do. Okay, fair enough. We can probably do that. The question is, if you were to do this, if it kind of like loses track of what you're trying to do. Okay, setting token constraints. Something to look into. Let's look at completion API, because what the max tokens, that's one way. You just give the constraint on the types of the number of tokens that we get. And we feed and do it. It's not about the output. Oh, it is about the output, max tokens. So anywhere where we can. All right. Okay. It's weird because the interface is clearly natural language. So a lot of this other stuff in like what pre-processing, I understand how we could be pre-processing it, makes some sense, but it probably changes the nature of the job quite a bit. Let me see, like, find some good examples of what I can do in terms of pre-processing text. GPT-3 pre-processing text. Community OpenAI. Let's see what they suggest. And the information regarding current programs and submitting to returning a YouTube description generated with a prompt being a title and appropriate description being designed. Prompts YouTube allows all sorts of character shaping. Okay, so that type of stuff I understand. Removing emojis, blah 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 blah. That fine. Replacing double spaces, that's fine. But this is not going to help me feed a large text into a token count constrained interface. Yeah. See, for authenticity, I suggest to keep text as close to original as possible. Yeah. Okay, natural toolkit, natural NTLK, it's like natural language toolkit or something like that. NLTK, I don't even know what the actual thing there is. NLT, it's natural language toolkit, not NTLK. All right, so that's this part. Anyways, I digress. Clean pre-processing as well, even on our software. Okay, this doesn't really help me, right? It's still a question to figure out. So let's say GPT-3 completion state. Here's something we can do, or we can factor in state or memory. State, is there anything here? No, it's probably not a real hit memory, not a real hit prompt design. Showing, not just telling us often the secret to good prompts. So that's exactly what we were just looking at. Provide quality data, check your settings. Okay, that's one thing. Classification, decide whether to sentiments positive, neutral. Okay, this is easy one. Providing classifiers, improving classifiers efficiency. Take that example and make it even more efficient so I can use to get multiple results back from one API. That is an easy one. Generation tasks. That is kind of like easy. Conversation. That's another one. Transformation. Summarization. Refers to different ways. This is ELI 5 feature. Verifying completion for concept open the playground. Certain types of practices. Let's see. Use max tokens greater than 256. The model's ability to inserting longer completion with too small max tokens. The model will be cut off before it's able to connect to the suffix. Okay. Even using larger max tokens. Prefer to intrusion stuff on the model, which is natural starting point or use a provided stop sequence. It will set finish reason as stop. All right. Do we actually set that? Let's just figure out the completion. How many times do I have the same pages open? Okay, so let me just notes. Best practices. And put it in there. There we go. Oh, darn it. Okay, I'll just drop them there. It's easy enough. So what's best practices, Max? And just remember it for the future. It's probably easier. It's greater than 56. Let's figure this one out. Finish. Stop. It's not 35 times. Yeah, come on. Try to get them more close, so fair enough. Almost all completions connected to prefix. The model may struggle to connect the suffix in harder cases. 5% 35 times for using best of with case 35. 35. So, okay. Next. The edits endpoint can be used to edit text rather than just completing it. You provide some text and then an instruction file modifying the text that means you to edit. We'll attempt to edit it accordingly. This natural information translating, editing, taking text is also used for refactoring and working with code. Visit our code guide to learn more into this initial data. I think it's in the voice of GPT too. I love this. Cool. So, what we have checked out there, that's cool. But I need to go back to a page that lists explanations. Actually, this is a nice article. I'm just going to, this is where it's the right place to drop this. Just drop it in my notes here. I'll look at it later. So yeah. Cool. And this we can close. I don't think I have any notifications on changes for review. That's been much. I need that. Cool. This is not the one thing we need right now. Completion endpoint, that's the one we need. Okay, cool. So, okay, that's probably here. API reference completion. Okay, so this is the one I need for now. API completions. API, that's the one I was looking at. And then that K parameter. Let's see where it is. Is it in here? That's the. It's not here. Or something. Okay. All right. So what I guess we could just return the edited version of the prompt. What we should be looking at is probably embeddings. All right, here we go. Creates an embedding vector representing the input text. manipulations in the way of law. Input text to each input must not exceed this many tokens in length. All right, for multiple inputs, single request. Input text to get for. I would assume that the ordering is relevant, right? So the ordering of the words, so the meaning of the text is kind of like baked into an embedding. Now the question is, with OpenAPI, how do we use their embeddings? So here we create an embedding, and then we have to figure out how to use it. And it would be interesting to know if you could actually use embeddings inside of completion. And it's probably not. Okay, something is off here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is interesting. Let's just read about embeddings. OpenAI text embeddings measure the relatedness of text strings. Embeddings are most commonly used for search. Yeah, recommendation, difference, classification. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, so it's a very different problem. I thought I was going to be able to cheat somehow by finding some way to produce an embedding of a text that just gives me like a matrix or something that could, like a fixed size matrix that could contain any length, that could represent any length text. And like, so it could be a single paragraph, like a Slack message, or potentially the entire corpus, the entire Bible, for example. Just take a text and it would probably provide me then like, oh, it's just going to be captured within this n-dimensional matrix, and that I could potentially just feed into the model as context along with a prompt, because that's the problem for me right now. I am not directly seeing beyond either fine-tuning, actually more prompt engineering and fine-tuning, how to get like a large text, like that's context relevant, into consideration when I throw a prompt at it. So that is my issue. Anyways, let's just keep reading. Usage burst for input token array of that. That's an interesting one, actually. That's an interesting one, actually. I think this might be an interesting clue. Okay, cool. Get embedding product description, blah. Okay, we do that with the A model similarities. So cosine similarity thingy, or what? Yeah, cosine similarity. Embedding applied. Yeah. I see. Okay. I see. So what it probably would mean is that I can probably hack around this by saying do either of the following. This is my notes. Yeah, okay, whatever. I split this in 3 and get me a scratch pad. So I guess I'm in notes right now. So what I can do, I get like large texts, I split into chapters, split into sections, maybe paragraphs, whatever the next denomination is sensible. Then for any given task, I would have to figure out something to the effects of the task is like, for example, summarize infrastructure, architecture, points from passage. If that's the question, then effectively, so this is like prep, search, and search, whatever, for phrasing. And then the next thing would be summarize. Question or task definition, right? And in the task definition, I probably use some examples. Summarize infrastructure, where infrastructure architecture is the topic or subject, or explain section for a, actually summarize for a marketing manager. These keywords, the marketing manager is a summary, and then when I do search corpus with statement relevance for subject, right? And I'll get some similarity scoring. Similarity scoring. And I pick the N highest scored passages, right? And then what I should be doing right now, okay, let me just switch syntax here to or long and then or. Right, so I guess this is kind of like a rough idea of how I could approach it. Pick N highest score passages and then feed top N passages into new prompt with summarization objective. Right now I've been able to take this extremely large text, split it into segments, then figure out which of the segments are relevant to the question at hand. And I don't have to do this, conduct this task over the full text necessarily. This is cheating. So for this, yeah, split into sections, and generate embeddings. And the actual usage, what would it look like? The actual usage would look like basically us generating a prompt. So the prompt would be structured like it's called text and context, and then assignment and assignment. I don't know how we fix that. It is a summarization. Summarize the text for a subject. For a recipient. So the prompt could be either one of these things, like summarize text for a recipient or summarize the text with focus on subject. actually, yeah, this is all like experimentation stuff. I think I know that. I think I have a rough gist of how to approach this now. So I would just say like these things I could do. Trick of getting the context is basically just me playing with embeddings and performing a search task over that. To be used for search. I think I've ideated over this roughly. This is something I could be doing. Let's go back to the docs. Yeah, so then I probably that's actually not the link I need. So, okay. So to the question, traction summarization. Traction. Explain language reading to not translate the author's content. In any case, in this example, we include a possible sentiment label, QA. This is weird because I probably copied this over from somewhere. It's a shitty copy job. This doesn't do anything. I think we had that here where we did the QA thingy, but anyways, we're just going to write a new section and just something large text larger than token constraint allows, right? So we have here, let's structure our nodes. And then we copy, come on. So, it's the page. C. This is not. This is not. No, okay. This is sometimes really. Sometimes you have to use a mouse for some weird reason. Okay. Cool. So what we do, we search corpus. Whatever the hell the word is. It's not a corpus, it's just generate search headings. Searchable. Searchable embeddings. So large text split into chapters, split into sections that generate embeddings to be used for search. Typical use case. Then we have to figure out what the hell we're doing. If we're writing an executive summary, yeah, that's then the subject, like summarize, summarize manager. Okay, so it could be topic related, could be recipient related, summarize infrastructure. That's content in the document, right? Yeah, but could be scope. Like scope is also like topic. Like if I want an executive summary, then I would say executive summary, and I would search through with the statement relevance for executive summary, which is not completely sensible because it's a very different type of problem. For sentiment analysis or like a recommendations type of problem, you can almost be certain that whatever the embedding is for the one thing you liked is probably going to match or be close enough to an embedding of another thing you might like. but you probably don't use the phrasing executive summary in the parts of the text that are useful for an executive summary. So you probably would be solving a different problem on top of those. All right, this is stuff to play around with. Yeah, stuff to play around with. This is probably not going to cut it. You code search using embedding. So here. Snap, and it's also about time for me to go to the meetup. Code query. All right, English only. Applying a series of events. How can I tell how many tokens a string will have for embedded generation? For second generation, embedded also takes it's not your way to count tokens locally. If your request exceeds, you can extract the number of tokens from the response. Vector database. Okay, cool. Yeah, cosine similarity is a distance function. Yeah, so this thing is, not completely satisfied. I'm currently finding ways to search, but this thing we're doing is not really a search problem unless I figure out a way to phrase the query such that it would. This is a question, how can you structure a query? Yeah, let me catch up with the sun. Let me text the sun. The sun wants to catch up. Would love to. Would love to. For you. And let's just double check my calendar. We're only supposed to start streaming just now. Okay, cool. Alrighty. I'm gonna take a little break. And let's put out the little break symbol. Imagine elevator music. Gonna have my brain think through some stuff while grabbing a drink, and thinking about what's the next thing to play around with. Be right back. back again. All right, pops-in-law on the phone, talking through some legal stuff. Some good advice is always worth a lot. I find it fascinating how quickly things can spiral in terms of like overwhelming complexity. So there's like every time you're dealing with like tax systems or legal systems in a language that's not your first or second language, it's quite overwhelming, I have to say. So it's always nice to have someone who's pretty comfortable in the material. Alrighty, so this is a paper I saw somewhere. Like this is an article I bumped across this morning while flipping through the phone. Let's see what this is about. Like instruction carry out a task, it's likely that the model fails to capture important information, had to generate it several times to select the best results. Now you can already sense the budget is skyrocketing. A major branch of NLP research is to make existing pre-trained large models more effective, morally conscientious, instead of training for a new one. This paper is one of them. Paper found that compared with original instructions, the reframed instructions led to significant improvements across LMs with different sizes. According to the results, reframed prompts boosted the few-shot performance of GPT-3 by 5%. Okay, so how about we get to the paper real quick? Where's the freaking link? Right here. Here we go. Not that. I'm doing. All right. Oh, it's easy to read. Right, but hey, let's just do this. Referring instructional prompts to GPT case language. Okay, now instruction prompts are easier to follow for language model. For language models, we study this question by conducting extensive empirical analysis to shed light on important features of successfully instructional prompts. Specifically, we study several cases of reframing techniques for manual reformulation of prompts into more effective ones. Some examples include decomposing a complex task instruction into multiple simpler tasks or itemizing instructions into sequential steps. Our experiments compared the zero-shot and few-shot performance of LMs prompted with reframed instructions on 12 NLP tasks across 6 categories. Compared with original instructions or reframed instruction related to significant improvements across LMs with different sizes. For example, the same reframed prompts boost few-shot performance of GPT-3 series and GPT-2 series by 12.5% and 6.7% respectively, average overall tasks. Furthermore, reframed instructions reduce the numbers of examples required to prompt LMs in the few-shot setting. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this analysis we want to understand the sentence. Okay. Subtasks. Writing questions that require entity co-reference. GPT-3 fails in solving the original task instruction. Yellow box at the top, it succeeds when the task is decomposed into 4 simpler and easier subtasks. Okay, so let's have a look. Well, it's not yellow anymore. Here, given passages contain mentions of names, people, places, and things. Your job is to write questions that evaluate one's understanding of pronouns she, her, him, his, their, etc., or other mentions to people, places, or things to which they may refer. Fair enough. You get like one passage, based on the passage, generate a question that contains the name. Because writing questions. Generate a question from the passage with name as the answer. All right. Generate a question using Q1 and Q2 with a 1 as the answer. And with the birth. Okay. It's interesting. It'll be compose. I like this. I like this. That's an interesting approach. We provide analysis for 5 diverse reframing techniques. These include incorporating low-level patterns about the target task, decomposing and itemizing instructions, stating the task constraints, and providing specialized instructions examples in table 1. All right. Cool. Alrighty. Particularly compared the quality of LMs, GPT-2 and 3, 2 settings, raw versus reframed instruction. In particular, we observed that the reframed prompts have notable performance gains over raw instructions. Gap between the red and the blue trends in figure 2 with an average of 4%, 7% gains. I'm using GPT-3 instruct in the few shot and zero shot setups respectively. Let's understand that diagram. Raw instructions, no reframing, rough L scores, task reframing, and then okay. Because our model size of reframed prompts consistently show considerable performance gain overall. I like how they colored this. This is kind of cool. Artificial learning setup since fine-tuning on GPT-3 is prohibitively expensive. It showed the performance of fine-tuning smaller models, horizontal lines. This results indicates that evaluating reframed prompts on the large model like GPT-3 instruct red line. Okay, so that's what red line looks like. That's where the hell is that? Huh? GPT-3. I probably should skip dark mode. There we go. Might be more effective in fine-tuning a smaller model. Yep, I see. Details on experiments in section 4. Okay, cool. All right, so this is definitely reading list. Notes. And where are we going to put this? I already copied this over. Yeah, don't need that right now. Just put a read there too. What's the title of this thing? Framing instructional prompts. Formulation, but my future self will very likely understand. So that's and composing, okay, cool. Perfect. Notes. Got those. Right now, there's one thing I need to do before I leave the house. Code splitting. This thing here, I think we have to merge. Uh, let's just get this show on the road. I have to go ship some packages for Leany in a bit, so I am going to wrap up the stream soon. I got some messages that I missed. Granola bar. Hey, granola bar, what's good? Yo, yo, yo. I totally missed this. I'm so sorry for that. Was I on the phone 10 minutes ago? I was actually in the middle of reading something. So sorry for missing that. Okay. I don't always have like my double screen set up, so I sometimes miss bits that are sent to me. Anyways, let's just hit local checkout. Merge hack. Let's do that. Could check it out because we have these unstage changes, which we don't care about. So we try it again. Local merge hack Here we go. Where does this come from? This has been a while back, 6 days ago. Integrating tables. Well, the nice thing about this is that no fast forward, merge and edit. I did not touch other files that have absolutely no bearing to this thing. So I think it should be a conflict-free merge. And it was. So we're going back to hack. Actually, let's see what the hell is going on. Let's see. All right, so let's check. Already checked out. Track B, fair enough. Let's go to our merging place. And then here we kind of like, let's quit this. Let's go here. We're already there. Let's just verify that the vturn session here, that we can actually build this. Pretty sure it will. Didn't change anything there. Good, this works. No need to think about this. Hack. Yeah, this is sloppy. I have like work trees, and very often the work trees, you can only have like one of them checked out. As like per work tree, you can probably have one branch checked out, and if one branch is checked out in one of the work trees, you can't check it out in another one. So that's why this thing is complaining. And my work tree 0, that's always where I do merges to main line. So I just have to come in here and fast forward merge whatever I don't push or whatever. Yeah, and then I push hack, merge and hack. And I may as well figure out where branch checkout branch main. Holy smokes, it's far back, 6 days ago. So we're gonna do a fast forward merge. Chat. Yeah, and that's the end of the day then. I did a bunch of merges, did a good amount of rating, got some parts in the configuration working again. It was a slow day, it feels like. I'm not super happy because there was a lot of administrative overhead and legal junk that I am not in the mood to deal with, but we dealt with it. Now I'm going to run some errands, some packages have to be shipped for the missus, and then I'm off to a meetup. An ML meetup. I don't know what we're talking about, probably some language model related stuff. Opportunity to learn and nerd out with people about how they collaborate and do other stuff. That's it for today, folks. Y'all have a lovely evening. Stay warm if you're in a cold place. We're fighting to stay warm. Stay kind. Ciao.